And we've had a start in the men's lightweight 8. All crews off the line, clean off the line. We have the men's lightweight 8. Lane 1 is NorCal. Lane 2, Capital. Lane 3, Los Gatos. And lane 4 is North Bay. Apologize for the interruption in our live stream earlier. I'm gonna spend a little time now. Let's try to send this link out to everybody. We have a good race here between NorCal and Capital out in front. Third place goes to Los Gatos, and fourth place is to North Bay. So NorCal may have a slight advantage over Capital, but a little too close to tell from here. NorCal a couple seats up on Capital in second. So it'll be NorCal in front, followed by Capital. Los Gatos will be in third, about one length up on North Bay. Two out in front here continue to be NorCal and Capital. Hopefully you guys can all see me now. Apparently earlier you could hear, but you couldn't see. NorCal continue to extend their lead on Capital as we come up into the 1,000. It appears Los Gatos was broken away from North Bay. Still got a good fight here between both NorCal and Capital. For those of you who are tuned in, since I changed the link on you, if you wouldn't mind sharing, that would be great. From my perspective, it looks like NorCal has about 3/4 of a length on Capital. Coxed sitting at about the 2-seat, 3-seat, 2-seat. Los Gatos in third, North Bay in fourth. And all crews have passed the 1,000. And again, I'm now posting the new live link on Facebook, so please share with people if they're interested in following the races live. That was the men's lightweight 8, now approaching the final 500. All right. Again, sorry for the technical difficulties this morning with our first live link. Hopefully you're all receiving this now or sharing this with everybody, as you should now have both picture and sound. Being told earlier we had good sound, not so good picture. Making our way back up to the start line. Our next race will be the men's varsity double. Men's varsity double will begin in 2 minutes. Again, please share the new link with everybody as you're tuning in, as we now have both picture and sound. The men's varsity double, lane 1 Capital, lane 2 Upper Natoma, lane 3 Oars, lane 4 Oars B. All crews are aligning. Pull off to the side here so we can catch the start as they come by in the first 100 meters or so. And we've had a start. Gonna putt over to the side here so we get out of the way of all boats. Appears Oars is coming a bit off course here, so we are going to try to get out of their way. Looks like we have a good race between Capital and Upper Natoma and Oars, all three boats. Off the start, aggressively. Capital seems to be making a bit of a move to get out in front. Capital continuing to push open their lead as they come into the first 250. So it'll be Capital, stroke seat Dennis Surt, bow seat Sam Scotty. These guys rode this boat at Youth Nationals last year. So they have some experience racing together, a lot of trust in that boat as Capital continues to extend its lead. Second place then goes to the A boat out of Oars. Try to zoom in here a little bit. So you have Oars out in second, Upper Natoma in third. I'll give you stroke ratings as we go through, as we approach the first 500. Oars is at 33.5. Capital 35. Looks like Oars is beginning to move up on Capital and away from Upper Natoma. We'll do our best here. We have Oars B trailing. But it's great to see a couple doubles coming out of Oars here and both fighting hard. Capital continuing to take its lead or continue to extend its lead as they come up on the 750. The B entry from Oars. Upper Natoma. Oars A entry rowing well. And Capital out in lane 1. So it'll continue to be Capital out in front, but Oars not letting him go. Capital stroke rate continues to be at that 35, and Oars stroke rate 34.5. Upper Natoma in lane 2, this is also their home course. They're racing at a 32. And the B entry from Oars, 29.5. Continues to be a good race up there between Capital and Oars. All boats racing hard as they cross the 1,000, so it looks like Capital's still out in front. Followed closely by Oars as they come up to 750 to go. All right, and we're making our way back up to the start line. Hopefully I was muted just then. Let me know. We have 11 of you following now. Please share the link. We're excited to offer live streaming opportunities at our home races here. Our next race is going to be the Men's Open 4A category, the A entries. So lane 1 will be Capital, lane 2 be Los Gatos, lane 3 NorCal, 4 North Bay, 5 Oars, 6 UNRC. So this is going to be a full event. The crews are being aligned, and we're making our way up to the start line so we can catch the start. Capital crew wearing their pink unis. These are the unis that they purchased for Head of the Charles. We're going to cut the wake and coast up front. It appears we're still aligning, so we got time. Again, we appreciate you guys tuning in. We know that sometimes it's you just sit at the finish line waiting to find out what's going on at these races, so we're hoping to make it a little bit more interesting for you. Crews are being aligned. So we have Upper Natoma here in lane 6. Let's see. And we've had a start to the men's open 4. Lane 1 is Capital, lane 2 is Los Gatos, 3 is NorCal, 4 North Bay, 5 Oars, 6 Upper Natoma. Competitive start here for all boats. Appears to be a good race. It's hard to tell. Capital might have a slight advantage here off the start. They're at a 40, stroke rate 40. Los Gatos, stroke rate 36. NorCal, stroke rate 35. Still a tight field here. Still a tight field. It's exciting to see as we approach the first 500. Capital seems to be pulling away just a bit. Got Los Gatos in lane 2 and NorCal in lane 3 fighting hard. Good racing going on between those two boats. Capital's varsity 4 stroke seat is Martin Carrier, 3 seat is Ethan Abraham, 2 seat Travis Keating, and bowman is Adam Montoya. Coxing is Kobe. They continue to extend their lead just a bit now as their bow deck is on the stern, as their stern deck is on the bow deck of Los Gatos, but great race between Los Gatos and NorCal for that second place position, but it's not over. It's not over. It looks like Los Gatos and NorCal, they're not letting Capital go. Then we have North Bay and Oars fighting it out. Great race between those two crews. Upper Natoma. And again, back to Oars, North Bay. That race between Los Gatos and NorCal isn't quitting. Great. Capital out in front. Capital stroke rate now, 36. Los Gatos and NorCal still really close. We've got 36 for Los Gatos as well. I'd give the advantage to Los Gatos, but not by much, maybe a seat or two. and NorCal at 34. North Bay now is at 35. Oars seems to be pushing away from North Bay just a bit as they're understroking as well. So Oars at that 32. North Bay, and then it looks like NorCal now looks to be walking away from Los Gatos. But we're now all past the 1,000. All crews on their way. Should be a fun race to watch as we approach the finish line. We're gonna make our way back toward the start. Thanks again for tuning in. Please share the link. That was the men's open for the A category. We now have a B category coming up, so we'll make our way up to the start line so we can watch the start of that race. In the B category, Capital B, NorCal B, Los Gatos B, North Bay B, and Los Gatos C. So those are your lane assignments as we approach the start line. This is League Race 1, and again we welcome and thank NorCal, North Bay, Los Gatos, Upper Natoma, and Oars for coming out. It's a pretty great racing so far. Beautiful morning on Lake Natoma. Nice change from all the wind we've been having. Looks like the weather decided to cooperate for race day, which we always appreciate. Looks like the crews are still aligning. Again, this is the men's open 4, the second flight. Capital B, Los Gatos B, North Bay B, NorCal B, Los Gatos C. Those are your lane assignments. Crews are getting aligned. Again, it's Capital B, NorCal B, Los Gatos B, Los Gatos C.
full stroke with the tap, like it's arms only. Let's back it down lane 5. Back down 1. Lane 3, tap 1. Hands only. Lane 5, hold. First, just have your watch ready. Liz will start them. You can follow them. Guys, if you want to have your timer going. Lane 2, tap 1. Copy. Good, sitting ready. Lane 1, capital. Lane 2, NorCal. Lane 3, Gato. Lane 5, Gato. Attention. Go.
And we've had a start. Again, this is the men's open 4, our second flight for the men's open 4. Great race already. Capital lane 1, NorCal lane 2, Gatos 3, Gatos 5. Capital and NorCal neck and neck off the start here. NorCal 39.5. Capital 38.5. Gatos 35.5. And the second entry from Los Gatos 35.5 as well. So the lead goes to Capital Crew for now. Capital Crew, our 4 here stroked by Ethan Morris. 3-seat Jordy Bacher. 2-seat Christian Gaylord. Bow seat is Jack Ranker. Coxed Cole Trumbull. They got about a length now over second place NorCal, whose stroke seat has the bow ball of the Los Gatos entry. So again, it's Capital Lane 1, NorCal 2, Los Gatos 3, Los Gatos 5. NorCal not letting Capital go. Capital at 35. Looks like NorCal's creeping their bow ball, creeping up just a bit on Capital. NorCal 34. Great to see some of our younger athletes out here in this 4. So our last 4 was all seniors, and this 4 is all sophomores and juniors. Great race, good race. Here we got, it looks like Los Gatos is starting to creep their way up now on NorCal. NorCal made a brave move at about the 500-meter mark, and then Los Gatos now seems to be making theirs. So you got Capital beginning to extend their lead. Capital racing at 33.5. NorCal 30.5. And as they appear to move away from Los Gatos. Los Gatos at 33. And then the second entry from Los Gatos in this race, 33 as well. So good race still as we're coming up on that 1,000-meter marker. Capital out in front by about a length. Then NorCal about a length over Los Gatos, who is about a length over their teammates in lane 4. So all crews now coming across the 1,000. And here they come. Lane 1 Capital, lane 2 NorCal, 3 Gatos, 4 Gatos, and all crews coming across the 1,000 in that order. Here they come, finish line. We're gonna make our way back up to the start line so we can catch the next race. And our next race is going to be the Women's Open 4. Lane 1 will be Capital, lane 2 Los Gatos, lane 3 NorCal, lane 4 North Bay, and lane 5 will be Oars. So we'll make our way back up to the start line to catch the start of the Women's Open 4. looks like we're starting to align the crews for the women's open 4. So again, this is the women's open 4. The aligner is getting them all even. We do have a little bit of flows going out this morning, which makes it a little challenging for the coxswains to be able to anticipate how the flows are going to affect them as they approach the start line. But it seems like all coxswains are doing a great job so far. Women's open 4, lane 1, Capital. Lane 2, Los Gatos. 3, NorCal. 4, North Bay. 5, Oars. And we've had a start for the women's open 4. You can hear athletes cheering on their teammates as the start has gone down. It's always exciting to see. Capital in lane 1. Stroke right off the start is a 38. Appears they've got the early lead. And here's Oars. Oars stroke right off the high. As they've shifted now, they're shifting down to that 36. Great race here. It appears Los Gatos beginning to make a little bit of a move on Capital. Capital stroked by Sophie Costamagna. And Capital responds. Now Capital responds as they make their move to begin to extend their lead. So Capital out in front. It appears NorCal in second, Los Gatos in third. We have North Bay in fourth and Oars in fifth. Great racing going on. We have Capital rowing well. Stroke rate 32.5. Excuse me, 34. Los Gatos and NorCal, all crews rowing well, all crews rowing hard. Los Gatos are clocking at 36. And NorCal, we're clocking at 34. The higher rate seems to have given Los Gatos a bit of an advantage as they're starting to now pull away from NorCal. North Bay continuing to extend their lead over Oars, but it's still very early as we're only now just crossing the first 500. Leaders is about 650 meters in. Capital continuing to extend their lead. Great race between Los Gatos and NorCal. Los Gatos at 34 strokes per minute, and NorCal at 31. So NorCal long, low. Senior Soph Costamagna stroking that 4 at rate 34. As they will be the first bow ball to cross the 1,000-meter marker. It will be Capital, Los Gatos in second, but hard fight between both Los Gatos and NorCal for that second place position. Los Gatos continuing to race at 34. NorCal, 33. So good race going on between those two crews as they've crossed the 1,000 as well. And we have North Bay in that fourth place position and Oars in fifth. Here they come, finish line. All crews now across the 1,000. Capital's still out in front, but from my perspective, it's hard to tell whether Los Gatos or NorCal's in second. It's a good race as they're at the 7:50 to go, and they come up to the finish line. So let's hear it, finish line. As Capital, Los Gatos, NorCal, North Bay, and Oars make their way down to the finish line. Make our way back up to the start line for our next event. Which will be our last before our break, which is going to be the second flight of the Women's Open 4. So that's going to be Capital in lane 1, Los Gatos in lane 2, North Bay lane 3, NorCal lane 4, and Los Gatos C is going to be out in lane 5. So we'll make our way back up to the start line. To catch that race. Thanks again to the visiting crews for coming down and racing. Hopefully the live feed's coming out well on your end. Feel free to share with whomever. It's been great racing so far across the board. Started our day with our novice 8s, some varsity small boats, and then we'll end the day with the varsity 8s and the novice small boats. Weather continues to cooperate here on Lake Natoma. All right, here we are at the start line. Coach Sarah Puttycombe aligning the crews for the women's 4, the second flight. As we make our way off the course. Crews are continuing to be aligned for the Women's Open 4, the second flight of the Women's Open 4. Hopefully you all can still hear me and see what's going on. So this is going to be, again, the lane assignments for this event. Capital in lane 1, Los Gatos 2, North Bay 3, NorCal 4, Gatos C 5. And we've had a start All crews off the line clean. A little bit of a course correction, it appears, for that Los Gatos C entry. I'll tell you the racing order as they approach, but I can tell you that Capital here is at 36 out of lane 1. Los Gatos 32, so Los Gatos a little low. Going for the long and strong approach here. All right, and I would pull forward. We have crews coming up here. We have Los Gatos coming up. So off the start here, as we're getting into the first 250, it appears Capital's out in front. Capital now open water over second place Los Gatos. And we have another entry from Los Gatos here. Coming up to that 250, coming up on that 250. So first place will go to Capital Crew. Second place will go to the first entry from Los Gatos. Third will go to NorCal, but it looks like the second entry from Los Gatos now starting to move up on NorCal. So first continues to be Capital. Capital rowing at a stroke rate 30. So long, aggressive. Then we have Los Gatos in second. Los Gatos racing stroke rate 31. And then we have NorCal. NorCal stroke rate 34. They're in that third place position. And then we have North Bay in fourth at stroke rate 29 and a half. And then we go out to Los Gatos' C entry, sticking in it. So great racing across the board. It appears we've had a little bit of a sifting out of crews here to get into the first, second, third, fourth, fifth place positions. But I wouldn't count out that Los Gatos C entry out in lane 5 for moving up on that North Bay crew. So we got a good race going on between those two boats. So Capital will continue to extend its lead as they come up on the 1,000-meter marker. Still rowing at that nice long 30 and a half. Los Gatos in second still. Los Gatos racing 29 and a half. NorCal a bit higher on the rate, 33. But it appears that that long, low, aggressive rhythm from Los Gatos is benefiting them here as they stay in that second place position and keep both North Bay and NorCal in their sights. So all crews have crossed the 1,000 now. We'll actually follow a little farther through as we have a break after this race so we can kind of keep up with these crews as they now come into the second 1,000 of the race. Not much has changed in terms of the order. Capital continuing to stay out in front. Los Gatos stays in second, NorCal in third. North Bay still in that fourth place position, but Los Gatos staying determined not to let him go. Exciting to see all these crews out here. Teammates encouraging each other. North Bay now opening up their lead a bit on NorCal. Appears to be some disagreement in the boat. Los Gatos charging, Los Gatos trying their best here to make up that gap between them and North Bay. Capital continues to have their lead. Oops, sorry about that. Technical stuff. For the quality kind of got worse as I zoomed in there, but I wanted to give you sort of an idea of where Capital is. Los Gatos still in that second place position. Los Gatos opening up the margin between them and NorCal. They're coming to the finish line now, everybody. Let's hear ya. The North Bay crew encouraging each other. And then we have that third entry from Los Gatos, sticking it out. All boats now coming up to the final 500. Capital stays out front. Los Gatos second. NorCal third. North Bay fourth. And then the second entry from Los Gatos in this event, trailing. Great work from all boats. We're now going to have a bit of a break. Our next race will begin at 10:10, which is going to be the men's lightweight 4. 10:10 will be the men's lightweight 4. There goes Capital's lightweight 4. And NorCal warming up to the start line. All right. So again, we're going to have quite a break, guys. We have 20 minutes until our next event. Men's lightweight 4. That'll begin at 10:10. Great showing from family, alumni, supporters, fans, parents, from all these different crews. Welcome, welcome, guys. Thanks for coming out again. NorCal, North Bay, Oars, Los Gatos, Upper Natoma. Great to have you guys. Hopefully the quality's all good on your guys' end. Hello, Cindy Dolgar. No, it was bio break time. We have a break until our next event. So now we're back live. So message me back. Can you hear me, Cindy? All right. Our next event is at 10:10. So in 10 minutes, we'll have the men's lightweight 4 coming down. Thanks for tuning in, Cindy. And again, we're excited to have great competition out here from NorCal, North Bay, Los Gatos, Upper Natoma, and Oars. The men's lightweight 4 will be coming down in about 10 minutes. So your lane assignments for the men's lightweight 4. Lane 1 will be NorCal, 2 Capital, 3 Los Gatos, 4 Oars, 5 North Bay, 6 Oars. To be able to hopefully catch the start. Oh no. There we go. We're back. I believe. Breeze is picking up a little bit. Still nice conditions out here on Lake Natoma. The liners are lining our men's lightweight 4. In the men's lightweight category, all guys weigh in at under 150 or 150.0 or below. Almost there. 5 minutes to start. We got 5 minutes to start for the men's lightweight 4. Jet ski races. You know, it's funny, I was just about to say, we're pretty lucky here on Lake Natoma not to have to deal with jet skis and ski boats, right, Cindy? We don't need those ski boats out here. All right, we are approaching the start line for the men's lightweight 4. We're gonna do our best to get you guys some close-up shots of the start. It's always something you don't really get to see a lot as a coach or as a parent. The way the start works is most crews will take some semblance of a fraction 5 or some shorter strokes to get the boat up and running. They'll then take anywhere between 10 to 20 strokes high, and high meaning just more strokes per minute, higher repetitions per minute, after which they'll then settle into a rhythm at a little bit lower stroke rate, a little more manageable or sustainable stroke rate. And that stroke rate can vary anywhere from 32 up to 38. A lot of that depends on the time of the season, the type of crew, the type of rig. So we have 3 minutes to start now, 3 minutes to start. Going to be NorCal lane 1, Capital lane 2, North Bay lane 3, Los Gatos 4, oars in both lanes 5 and 6, and then North Bay lane 7. Going slowly to get through so we can catch the start here. We're now at 2 minutes to start. 2 minutes to start.
Up. All other crews, please hold.
Coach Chris Leonard aligning the crews. With North Bay. This is the men's lightweight 4. Thanks, PD. Men's lightweight 4.
NorCal, Capital, North Bay, Los Gatos, oars, North Bay, attention.
And we've had a start. On your screen is North Bay for the start of the men's lightweight 4. Lane 1 is going to be NorCal, 2 Capital. Lane 3 goes North Bay. Lane 4 Los Gatos. Lanes 5 and 6 are both from oars, and lane 7 is going to be from North Bay. 7 across, great start. It appears Capital's out in front by maybe a seat, but it's still so early. NorCal is racing at stroke rate 36.5. Capital stroked by senior Camden Rothleader. Stroke rate a bit higher here. Rate 39. And you have the NorCal, men's lightweight 4. Neck and neck with Los Gatos at stroke rate 31.5. Los Gatos is racing at 33.5. And it looks like Ors is starting to walk through Los Gatos a bit here on the outside lanes. Ors is at stroke rate 38.5. So Ors making their move early to try to get out in front as we approach 500 meters. And you have the other entry from Ors and from North Bay. Trailing back to our leaders here. It looks like NorCal may have taken the lead from Capital. So you have NorCal out in lane 1, Capital 2, North Bay 3. Tight race. Now it looks like Los Gatos and Ors are starting to make their way through North Bay to fight for that third place position. NorCal continuing to extend their lead here. NorCal at stroke rate 33, 32.5. Capital at a higher stroke rate, 34. Still a great race here for that third place position between North Bay and Los Gatos and Ors. So, I mean, 3 across, a couple seats separating. But it does look like Los Gatos is beginning to kind of make their way through the North Bay crew. Los Gatos racing at 34, North Bay racing at a stroke rate of 33. All crews coming up on the first 1,000 now. Men's lightweight 4. Again, these guys all weighing in at 150 or below. Good race for all crews. How do you calculate stroke rate so quickly? I have a stroke watch that I push a button on every time the blades go in and it tells me what their stroke rate is. There is human error though, so I mean I could be a beat or two off. I wish I could do math that quickly. Anyway, back to the race. We have NorCal out in front. We have almost all crews now past the 1,000. So it would take something pretty brave out of these other crews to catch that NorCal boat out in front racing at a stroke rate 32.5. Capital 36. NorCal 32. Los Gatos 35. And then the first entry from Ors is going to be at 36. The second entry from Ors in that 6th place position, 34. We've got North Bay's second entry trailing. And they are at stroke rate 31. Back up to our leaders. Nothing's really changed. First place goes to NorCal, second place Capital, third Los Gatos. And then the race for 4th, though, is between the first entry from Ors and the first entry from North Bay. Here they come, finish line. Get prepared. We're going to make our way back up to the start line for the next race. And coming up next is the men's freshman 4. So that's lane 1's Capital, 2 is NorCal. Those are the only 2 entries. It'll be a 2-boat race between Capital and NorCal. We'll make our way back up to the start. Beautiful day, Lake Natoma. Again, we appreciate all the competitors for coming out today. to race in what some events have ended up being 7 across. Fair conditions. Next up is the men's freshman 4. So all these guys are either freshmen or below in high school. We do have an oars 4 here warming up, so instead of just watching the sky, we'll give you guys the opportunity to watch some of your athletes here. You know, I have to correct myself here. The men's Frosh 4 was canceled, so we actually no longer have a men's Frosh 4, which means our next event is going to be the women's Frosh 4, which is at 10:26. So we do have a little bit of a break here until 10:26, which will be the women's freshman 4. We can say hi to Liz in the meantime. Say hi to the live stream, Liz. You're saying hi to 24 people. Cool. Yeah, then it was 33 just a second ago, so yeah. Sam, if you're watching the live stream, Liz is trying to call you. In case you guys were curious, Sam answered. The suspense is over. So again, next race is not until 10:26. So we do have a solid 8 minutes of rest, or 8 minutes of break before our next event. Yeah. Coach Chris Manabusen here, everybody. Everybody say hi to Coach Chris Manabusen. He just told me I need to get a drone to make our live feed better. I'm telling him, don't tempt me.
Hey, set thumbs up if you think you should get a drone.
Manny says, like if you think we should get a drone. Oh, Nicole Zaney says, like, shoot. Might need to get a new credit card. We are aligning or beginning to align our women's freshman four. The women's freshman four lane assignments. Lane 1 is NorCal, 2 Capital, 3 Los Gatos, 4 Upper Natoma, and 5 will be NorCal. So those are your lane assignments for the women's freshman four. We love to see people get involved in the sport early. Oh, thank you, Brad Murphy.
All right, you are now in your lane, so let's, as soon as we go to pass, we'll back it down. I am on the start line, and then you get to
And there's Capital rowing in the Capital Pride. I will do my best to get some lineups out so I can tell you guys who's in some of these boats. Aha. All right, so again, this is the women's freshman four. The lineup for our women's freshman four at this event is going to be, coxswain is going to be Carly, 4 is Lindsay Neathammer, so stroke seat Lindsay Neathammer, 3 Lily Crook, 2 seat is going to be Elsa Hartman, and bow is Ava Minnie. So that's going to be our women's freshman four lineup. They're railing out of lane 2 for Capital. NorCal still is in that lane 1 position.
So we're getting into our lanes. Once we're in our lanes and like it's all even with Capital back here, this is our start line.
So as we mentioned earlier, we do have flows going out of Lake Natoma, which makes it a little bit difficult around the start line to get everything aligned.
So NorCal B, you've got clearance. Let's go ahead and continue to back it down. UNRC, you are clear. Go ahead and back
So
it
kind of
down.
get a cool shot here of Lindsay.
So also back it down. While we're doing this, we will get alignment, we'll pull and pull, then your commands will be attention and go. Good, Los Gatos, keep backing it down here.
So again, it's our women's freshman four.
And we'll try and keep our angle as best we can.
Right now I'm using my iPhone and a microphone that I bought at Fry's.
NorCal B, that is perfect. Go ahead and hold there. Los Gatos, once you're
And then I'm using a gimbal to keep it all stable.
you'll get your point and we'll keep going.
That's lane 1, NorCal.
Just keep moving here.
Lane 2 is Capital.
Move, get a little bit more pressure on our port side. That's going to give us a weird angle to start, but at least
And we see Los Gatos here. See Upper Natoma backing down to get aligned.
Let's make sure we've got our angle. Right now looks like 1 and 2.
And then on the outside we have NorCal. A second entry from NorCal.
Yeah, so UNRC, you guys will keep, I want you to keep backing until you're even past everybody else, and then you can pull up into your lane 4.
Continue to align the crews.
Good, UNRC, 2 more.
I'm trying to talk quietly at the start line.
I'll get us aligned. We're just going to get our lane 4 in here, then we'll get started. We're about 20 meters past the line here. NorCal, can I have you guys back one? Perfect. Yeah, make sure each other. Good and hold. Good. UNRC, let's pull it on up. And coxed inspection, we have straight points on the dam and no points with equals at our shore. UNRC, tap 1. 3, lane 3 hold. Lane 3 back 1. Lane 4 hold. Lane 1 tap 1. Just cancel. Lane 2 tap 1. Lane 2, you will start behind if you do not tap. Sitting ready.
Here we go. About to have a start for the women's freshman 4.
All right, we have alignment. Lane 1, NorCal. Lane 2, Capital. Lane 3, Los Gatos. Lane 4, UNRC. Lane 5, NorCal. Attention. Go.
And we've had a start for the women's freshman 4. In lane 1 is NorCal, 2 Capital, 3 Gatos, 4 Upper Natoma, and 5 is the second entry from NorCal. All coxswains now finding their point as they get down the course. Great race here. Looks like we have 2 races going on. It's 250 meters in. NorCal and Capital. And then for the second, third place, or third and fourth place positions, Upper Natoma and Los Gatos. But I wouldn't count out the second entry from NorCal. A little course correction out of Capital, need to move to port. Capital racing at stroke rate 33, 32. And we have NorCal in lane 1 with what looks like a small advantage racing out of 34. Great race still going on between Los Gatos and Upper Natoma. And I mean, here comes that second NorCal 4. That second NorCal 4 now starting to walk through both Upper Natoma and Los Gatos. So good racing out of all crews. Good racing out of all crews. I mean, it's bow ball to bow ball for these 3 crews right now as we approach the 500 in. So the 2 boats out in front continue to be NorCal and Capital. They've crossed the 500. And now I give the third place position to that second entry from NorCal, who in lane 5, who is now clearly in that third place position. It's bow ball to bow ball for Los Gatos and Upper Natoma. Small advantage to Upper Natoma. As the NorCal boat continues to establish their lead over Upper Natoma and Los Gatos. Back to our leaders, NorCal crew out in front, followed by Capital in second. Open water back to the rest of the field, finding it out for third. Currently going to NorCal out in lane 5. Still a lot of race to be raced here. A lot of course to be raced. Coming up on that 1,000-meter marker, NorCal continues to race in that first place position. NorCal rating at a 33. We have Lindsay Neathammer stroking that women's freshman 4. Not letting NorCal go, rating at a 31.5. Not much has changed here. It does look like Upper Natoma has begun to walk away from Los Gatos, establishing themselves into that 4th place position, as NorCal's second entry is still in that 3rd place position. Good race still going on between both NorCal and Capital. We'll try to get alongside for a bit before we have to turn around so you guys can see exactly where they're at. Looks like about a length, maybe a little open for NorCal over Capital. But it looks like Capital's beginning to move. Capital, as we come into that third 500, which we all know sort of the make or break time is that third 500. NorCal responds, NorCal responds. As we come across the 1,000, NorCal stays in first. Close race for second with Capital. Third place still going to NorCal. and then Upper Natoma in 4th and Los Gatos in 5th. But as they come by, we'll see how things have formed in that race. Oh, shoot. Upper Natoma still out in front of Los Gatos here. And there goes Liz to ref the rest of the race. I may have to disconnect the audio. You'll still be able to hear me, but it won't be as good to be able to charge the phone. My phone's now at 20%. I did bring a portable charger, but I might be able. So bear with me, guys, as I plug this in so we don't lose ya. All right, so it looks like we will have to disconnect the microphone, guys, so we can charge for a bit, but hopefully you can still hear me all right. All right, I believe I'm charging. Let me know if you guys can still hear me. I'm gonna see if I can figure out something creative for the sound. Our next race coming down the course will be the men's novice 8 C category. Lane 1 is Capital, 2 Los Gatos, and then lane 3 will be Capital's B entry. So we are going to make our way off the course. I apologize, but we probably will not be able to catch the start for this race. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. All right, cool. Test, test, test. All right, cool. Test, test, test. All right, making our way back up to catch the C category, the C event for the men's novice 8. Once we've had a chance to charge the phone a bit, we'll plug the mic back in, but it appears that this seems to be working okay. Thank you, Cindy. Let me know if it gets worse as I start driving. Earlier we had a mic plugged in, so it made it a little bit better. I'll see what happens with the wind as I get going. All right. Cindy, can you still hear me all right? Or does it sound way worse now. I know, but hold on. Cindy, oh shoot. All right, and we have had a start in the men's novice 8. This is the C category. So lane 1's Capital, lane 2 is NorCal, and then we should have a second entry out of lane 3 for Capital, but I do not see them at this time, so we'll see how things shake up as we get closer. This event. So we do have a lead here from Capital for the C category. I'm going to slowly get off the course here so we aren't in the way of Los Gatos' C entry. So this is a 2-boat race with Capital out in front and Los Gatos trailing. Capital is racing down the course at stroke rate 35. And then we have Los Gatos rowing at stroke rate 37. Here we go, boats coming down the course for that C category. And this is Los Gatos' C, novice C boat. Is the sound way worse?
You can hear you over the wind, but you can hear the wind a lot more. It's fine. I like BD's comment. This is so cool.
I'm gonna mute this real quick. Maybe. All right, I'm no longer muted. So we are going to go. My phone is plugged in right now to charge so that we don't lose you. I'm gonna let it charge for a while, and then I'll try to plug the mic back in later. I apologize for the sound of the wind. I'm being told I need to move from my phone to the microphone and the charger. I don't have two poles. Now you know. right, next up is going to be the women's novice 8C category. Lane 1, Capital. Lane 2, Lane 2, NorCal. Lane 3, Capital. Lane 4, Capital. Lane 5, Capital. So we have Coach Liz Danielson, Sam Walker, and Ash Pat, who have been working hard to get, it's like 6 or 7 eighths worth of girls training and rowing well, and they've done a great job. So again, this is going to be the C category for the women's novice 8. 2 teams in this event, Capital, and I believe it was NorCal. Let me double check. Yep, Capital and NorCal. So as we approach the start line, I will do my best to get up close to those two, lanes 1 and 2. Lanes 3, 4, and 5 are all going to be from Capital as well. So I'm going to pull off the course, and if we have time, we will try to get up there to catch the start. Thanks again to those who've traveled here. Got teams like Los Gatos and NorCal who came here from the Bay Area. They wake up early to arrive here and rig their boats and get on the course for some solid racing. We of course appreciate it, and we're excited to have you. We have coaches Dee Dee Birch and Sarah Puttycomb aligning the women's novice C8s. Capital NorCal, Capital, Capital. So we're about to have a start. Dee Dee's pulling the crews. And we have had a start. These are all novices here, which means they all just began rowing in September. So again, it's the women's novice 8, the C novice 8s. Here's Capital has a slight lead here as we come off the start. NorCal, of course, not letting him go. It's still early in the race. Capital now establishing a bit of a lead as they race down the course at stroke rate 32. NorCal and Capital's B entry in this event, neck and neck. The advantage to NorCal. NorCal is racing at 36.5 beats per minute. Capital's B entry now falling back, also racing at 36. Capital's A entry in this event continuing to extend their lead, rating at a 30. Rate. And we continue to have a good race here. The second place position between Capital's B entry and NorCal. Bow ball to bow ball as we are now approaching 500 meters in. So the race to watch really for that second place position is between Capital's B entry and NorCal. It appears Capital's bow ball and that B entry has begun to creep out in front. But NorCal responds now. NorCal responds. Their bow ball now just out in front. So for these 8s, we are going to have at stroke seat Macy Methner, Sunny, if you're watching, hello. We have Amelia Woodall, Bella Hatt, Zoe Ball, Riley Hooford, Maddie Chiampi. Sorry if I'm butchering names here. Hallie Vespito and Sophie Eason, coxed by Emery Harms, and they have established a pretty dominant lead here over second places Capital's B entry and NorCal. It looks like NorCal is starting to creep out in front of Capital's B entry. That 8 is being coxed by Stella Teeple. Stella Teeple coxing the B entry from Capital in this race. Stroke seat is going to be Olivia Elson. 7 is Rachel Glancy. 6, Mackenzie Schuber. 5, Jula Anderson. 4, Corey Fitz-Stansel. 3, Paige Davis. 2 is going to be Chelsea Griffith, and bow is Angie Herrera. So it does look like NorCal has taken their lead back for that second place position from Capital's B entry. But our leader remains the same. Our leader remains Capital Crew out in lane 1, out in front. So at this moment, our lane assignments reflect the order of the crews. We have Capital in lane 1 out in front, followed by NorCal in second, Capital's B entry closely following for that third place position, and then Capital's C entry in this category is trailing. But it's still a great showing from them, great showing from the program. Nice hard work from NorCal. We're excited to have everybody out here. Let's get back up to the start line for our next event. Which is going to be the women's lightweight 4. So we do have our leaders starting to approach the final 500 meters. Catch them at the finish line. And let's get back up to the top. Cut across. So we have had a start in the women's lightweight 4. These girls are all 130 or below. Lane assignments for this event are going to be Capital, Los Gatos, North Bay, Oars, NorCal, and then a second entry from NorCal. So again, this is the women's lightweight 4. Of course, I can't tell who's out in front now, but it does look like it's pretty tight. 250 in, and we'll catch them as they come by. Epic rower, so fast. From my perspective at this point, it does look like it's a good race between lanes 1 and 2 for the women's lightweight 4. Women's lightweight 4, Capital and Los Gatos. I give the advantage. No, I'm not going to call it. You guys will have to catch it as they come by. It does look like Los Gatos maybe out of lane 2 is out in front, followed very closely by Capital in lane 1, but that could just be perspective. We'll find out as they come by. Uh-oh. Get my camera allows me. Then NorCal, North Bay, Capital B, and Oars. 1,000 meters gone now, 1,000 meters to go. Anyone could take it here between those two. Either Los Gatos or Capital could take it. It's a Pretty exciting race here to watch. This is the women's lightweight 4 coming down. Here they come, finish line. All right, we're gonna make our way back up to the start line for the next event, which is a jam-packed event. We have the men's pair. Men's pair lane assignments are going to be Capital, Los Gatos, NorCal, North Bay, Oars, and NorCal. So we're making our way back up to the start line for the men's pair. Those we're just watching, that was the women's lightweight 4. At about 7:50 to go, Los Gatos was out in front, followed closely by Capital. So it'll be fun to see how those things shake out as they finish out the race. Results can be found for coaches on the Google Doc. They're being updated in real time. They can also be found at the finish line for those of you who are here. And will of course be published on Row 2K this afternoon. So the wind's picking up a little bit, but I mean, still, you don't get good conditions much better than this. We'll do our best to make it up there on time for the start. Capital's pairs in this event is being stroked by senior Ethan Abraham, who next year will be attending Princeton Lightweights. He'll be rowing for Princeton Lights. Bow seat Martin Carrier, who will be rowing for Columbia. So we're gonna cut a little early, make our way up there slowly and kind of get out of the way. Just so you don't wake any races, but especially being in a pair, I want to be careful. So again, coming up next is the first of 2 flights for the men's pair. It does look like we're still spending some time aligning crews. We have pairs sitting perpendicular to the course. And for those who've been listening for a while, you've heard me talk about how the flows are a little high, so of course that makes things a little difficult as the flows come around the turn. But as you can tell by the small boats that are sitting here, it's not really affecting a whole lot. So we're gonna slowly make our way up to the start line. There's 6 pairs in this event. So we're continuing to align the men's pair. I'll read you your lane assignments once again as we're finalizing that. Let's see. Men's pair, Capital in lane 1, Los Gatos 2, NorCal in 3, North Bay in 4, and Orr's in 5, and then Orr's second entry in lane 6. Looks like we're having to move all pairs just a bit north. It appears we have alignment for the men's pair. I'm trying to get out of the way of one of our capital 4s here. We have one of our novice 4s from Capital warming up. Roman, Brett, Caleb, Jaden. All right, we have alignment in the pairs. Dee Dee and Chris finally are finishing up aligning. Of course, doing a start in a pair can be a little tricky. So making sure everybody has their point is pretty important. So we don't end up with any collisions. They're going to a countdown start. And we've had a start. So we'll catch them as they come by. Capital lane 1 off the start. Rating at a 43. Los Gatos off the start now is shifted to a 32. And we'll catch the races as they come by. Looks like it's a good race between Capital and NorCal. NorCal, maybe just slight advantage to NorCal. Here we go. Capital now taking the lead from NorCal, who's in second. But especially in these small boats, it's a long race, right? So there's a lot that can happen over 2,000 meters. So it's Capital in lane 1, followed closely by NorCal out of lane 3, and Los Gatos in lane 2. Good race for 4th between North Bay and Orr's. Yet, but it is still really early as we're now just approaching the first 500. You see Capital here in the pink unis. And in second place will continue to go to NorCal, and third continues to go to Los Gatos. Los Gatos is rating low, it looks like. They're at 29.5. NorCal rating 32.5. Capital continuing in first, rating at 35.5. So we do continue to have a good race here all across the board for that pair. It's like Capital extending their lead just a bit over the field as Los Gatos attempts to draw even with NorCal. Chris making sure that lane 1 is aware of the lane 0 so that we're not in the warm-up lane for the pairs. NorCal responds to Los Gatos' attempts. NorCal staying in that second place position. So Los Gatos in that third place position. And then the fight for fourth between North Bay and Ors appears to have gone to Ors. So Ors now charging or walking through North Bay. And then NorCal second entry trailing. Let's go, Beefy. That's right, whoever that is. And for those who are watching, that's because stroke seat Ethan Abraham, bound for Princeton next year to row for their lightweight team. Whopping 165, for some reason his nickname is Beefy. So Capital maintains their lead as we shift back to NorCal and Los Gatos. Little steering difficulties in the pair for Capital as they correct. But it will be Capital. The race really to watch though is the second place race between Los Gatos and NorCal. Los Gatos is starting to make their move. Los Gatos beginning to make their move. Los Gatos now charging through NorCal. So we got a nice brave move from Los Gatos. Los Gatos rating, let's see if their rating has changed at all. Still looks low, powerful. 31.5, so they have brought it up about 2.5 beats. NorCal is 34, so NorCal's rating also come up a bit. Capital continue with their lead.
Stay off the course as we are launching.
They're at a 34.5, so we do have some launching crews. So coaches, if you could remind your teams as they launch to stay on the warm-up lane.
Lane 1, look ahead, look ahead.
As we do have crews impeding.
Exit the course.
So it's Capital, Los Gatos, NorCal, Ors, North Bay, and then NorCal B trailing. Here come the pairs finish line. We're gonna make our way back up to the start to catch the second flight of the men's pair. And we have had a start in the second flight for the men's pairs. We're gonna get off the course and watch them come down. Appears to be a good race here as they're in the first 250 or just passing the first 250. We have oars, NorCal, oars. And then we have a comp 4 from NorCal. So we'll wait for the pairs to come down, pairs and 4. And we'll follow them for about 500, 750 meters, and then we'll make our way back for the women's pair. Still some tight racing, it appears, as we were coming into 750 in. A little course correcting going on, as I'm sure all of us can imagine the pair. We have oars out in front, lane 1 oars out in front, followed closely by NorCal in lane 2, and then oars second entry in lane 3. The comp 4 from NorCal right in there with the rest of the crews. So there it is, there's oars out in front. About a length open. On second place, NorCal, who is about bow to stern. On third place, oars. NorCal's 4 trailing. NorCal's 4 has a couple of their lightweight guys and some novices. Great just to give them the opportunity to come out here and race. Kind of what all this early season racing is all about. Getting out there, taking some hard strokes. All right, so there is NorCal's 4. Course correcting going on. As it appears, NorCal's pair is trending or moving toward lane 1, crossing from lane 1 to lane 2. We do have oars A entry still out in front for the second flight. So it's oars, NorCal, oars. Those are the 3 pairs racing in this event. Some good aggressive racing, all boats rowing well. Give you some stroke ratings real quick as we're now past the 1,000. We've got oars in the lead, their stroke rate's 33. NorCal is racing at stroke rate 34. Oars B entry coming down the course at a 36. And then the 4 also passed the 1,000, rating at 30.5. So that is the second flight for the men's pair. We're gonna go ahead and turn around and make our way back up to the start for the women's pair. And we have had a start for the women's pair. So we're gonna do the same as we did for the last one. These races are starting a little quicker than I'm getting up here. But I believe we are on time and all crews are making it, so that's awesome. So we're gonna cut the motor, we're gonna make our way to the side, and we will catch, yep, just on time, the women's pair. So we'll catch them as they come by. We're at about the 500 in. It appears we have two boats out in front, Capital and Los Gatos, and then 2 boats from oars in that 3rd and 4th place position. So we'll catch them and follow as they come alongside. It does look like Capital has a advantage here over Los Gatos. The race to watch really might be, well, that oars boat out in lane 3 is also in the race. So, I mean, you guys all know with this perspective, it's always tricky. And I admit that I'm not good at the perspective game. You can ask anybody I've coached with. So it is Capital out in front. We're going to do our best to get far off the course just because this is the pairs event after all. So Capital has an open water lead over Los Gatos, who's in second. But it appears there's a good fight between Los Gatos and the A entry from Oars. So it will be Capital out in first. Capital racing their pair at stroke rate 33.5. Los Gatos in that second place position, and they are racing at 32 strokes per minute. And Oars, the A entry, is racing at 34 strokes a minute. So that's the race right now. We do have an Oars B entry. It's a long race, right? A lot can happen over 2,000 meters in a pair. And as I say that, it appears that Oars is trying to make their move to close the gap on Los Gatos. Got some Oars fans out there making comments. Good to see you guys here watching. Oars is racing at 34.5. Los Gatos, 32. Capital, 32.5. So it will be Capital crossing the line first, followed by Los Gatos, then Oars A entry, and then Oars B entry. We are going to stop here to make sure that we're not waking anybody out. We want fair racing for everybody. And we get some support for all crews here. All crews racing hard. And we are going to make our way back up to the start line for our next event. And our next event is going to be the men's novice 4. Your lane assignments are in lane 1, NorCal, lane 2, Capital, 3, Los Gatos, 4, North Bay, and 5 will be Oars. So if we're lucky enough and if my launch can do it, we'll make it up there for the start. We're gonna make our way off the course again. And you guys tell me, would you rather me stick around the first 1,000 and watch the starts, or go a little farther like we have been, and then we kind of catch them 250 in? You can reply in the comments and let me know if you'd rather catch the starts, maybe catch the first 1,000, so we can be sure we get all starts, or if you guys would rather me kind of follow a little longer as things develop. So this will be the men's novice 4. Crews are getting aligned. We're gonna do our best to get up there a little closer. And maybe we'll be lucky enough to catch the start. Sean says starts. I think I agree, Sean. Making our way up, Men's novice 4. So all these guys are in their first year of rowing. Again, thank you all for tuning in, and thank you all for coming out and racing today. Thank you to Lake Natoma for these great conditions. Doesn't get much better. And we might make it, guys. We might make it to the start. And a big shout out to the Capital Crew Boosters. Thank you to the Capital Crew Boosters. They're out there working hard, feeding our athletes. President Suzanne Moore. Treasurer Mike Condren. I would keep listing, but I feel like I'm going to forget someone and then I'm going to feel bad. So thank you to all of our boosters. I know the Moores are hard at work at the food tent, so thank you to you guys. Again, this is the men's novice 4. D.D. Birch aligning. Getting crews aligned here. So again, lane 1 is going to be NorCal. Lane 2 is Capital. 3 is Gatos. 4 is North Bay. And I believe we're waiting on Oars to pull up into lane 5. That'll be your men's novice 4 event. Again, the aligners will line it up so that all their bow balls are straight across. Oh, this is the race here. These are the crews. And we've had a start. Stroke seat Roman here from our novice team, and Brett Holt backing him up at 3. NorCal in lane 3, Los Gatos in lane 3, and North Bay in lane 4. It's really tight across all 4 boats. You got NorCal out in lane 1. NorCal is at this point in the race racing at 36 strokes per minute. Tight race between them and Capital. Capital racing at 37 strokes per minute. Capital might be a little bit up now. I give the advantage to Capital for that first place position, but not by much. Still early in the race. Got a good race between Los Gatos and North Bay. Results will be posted on Row 2K after the event concludes. We also do have live results for the coaches on the Google Doc, so if they'd like to share that Google Doc with their teams, they can do so. If you are a Capital fan, you can go ask the coaches at the finish line. They should be able to send it over to you. Great race for first between NorCal and Capital. NorCal might be walking through Capital now. That race for third between Los Gatos and North Bay, bow ball to bow ball. That race for first is still tight. You got Capital racing at stroke rate 35, and you have NorCal racing at stroke rate 33. 34. So it's going to be a tight race down to the finish, guys. I am going to turn around so we can catch the starts of all of our races here. But it's going to be a good race down the finish line. Capital moving now. Capital making a slight move. But it's going to be close. It's going to be close all the way down. Who's got the guts to go in the third 500? I give third place now to North Bay. I give third place now to North Bay over Los Gatos. Thanks, Sean. We'll plug the mic back in. I do have a mic that's just not plugged in right now because I need to charge my phone so I don't lose you guys. But I will try to plug the mic back in a little later in the day once the phone has had a chance to charge. Next time we'll try to beat this up a little bit, use a video camera or something. All right, we're making our way back up to the start for our second event, or our second flight of the men's novice 4s, I believe. So our next event, will be the second flight for the men's novice 4. Capital lane 1, North Bay 2, Oars 3, Los Gatos 4. Thank you, Rebecca. So this is the second flight of the men's novice 4. I'm gonna go ahead and plug the mic back in for a little bit. Hopefully my phone is a bit more charged. I think it'll tell me if it's not. There we go, mic should be plugged back in, so sound should be a little better. Let's hope the phone stays alive for the rest of the racing. This is the second flight of the men's novice 4. Capital lane 1, North Bay lane 2, Oars in 3, NorCal 4, and it looks like another entry from Los Gatos in 5. Oops. Let me know if you guys can hear me, just because I changed the mic, so I want to be sure it's working. Let's get a shout out for your team. Thank you very much. All right, here we go. Second flight, men's novice 4s.
Liz, are we good? All right, let's have 5, and whatever is outside of 5, stop. Both of you are 2 seats up above all other boats.
We are aligning our crews.
5, hold.
Again, the flows make it a little tricky.
Hold. This is a quick start.
We're going to a quick start because of the conditions here.
Alignment, attention, go.
And we've had a start. This is the second flight of the men's novice 4s. A little bit of a course issue going on between Oars and North Bay. Hopefully they respond. It's like they've recovered. Looks like North Bay charging now. They've recovered well from the little collision they had. Our leader at this point is Capital out in lane 1. Capital stroke rate 36.5. They appear to have just shifted off their high, so now I'm getting 34. But it's very early in the race as North Bay is right there behind them. North Bay about a length down on Capital. And then the race for third between Oars and NorCal, I give it to NorCal at this point. And we have Los Gatos on the outside. So your leader continues to be Capital, out in lane 1. Capital rating at a 33. Second place North Bay, rating at a 35.5. NorCal in third. NorCal rating at 33. Los Gatos appears to be in fourth. Los Gatos at 34. And Oars. So this is the men's novice 4, second flight. Looks like Los Gatos is now starting to move up on NorCal to challenge for third place, and I say they got it. I say Los Gatos' bow ball out ahead of NorCal and is now inching up for that second place position on North Bay. So it's Capital out in front. Open water back to second place, who at this point continues to be North Bay. But as we're getting closer to the 1,000, it'll be interesting to see what Los Gatos does. Los Gatos out in lane 5. Proving to all our skeptics out there that the lanes don't make the difference. Here we go. Passing the first crew to pass 1,000 will be Capital. Against men's second novice, or men's novice 4, flight 2. North Bay seems to have responded to the threat, and they're starting to now move ahead and hold on to that second place position. NorCal keeping third. We'll find out if Los Gatos ran out of gas, may have gone a little too hard in that second 500. All crews now passing the 1,000, oars trailing. And we are going to make our way back to catch the next race. So that is your race finish line as they're coming down for the men's novice 4, flight 2. And we're going to make our way back up to the top. The next event is going to be the men's lightweight double. These are all guys, again, who are at 150 or below. For those of you that are novice parents out there, the difference between like a double and a pair is there's 2 people in each. But when you're in an event that has an X at the end, which is going to be the single, the double, the quad, that means that each athlete is going to be rowing with 2 oars as opposed to 1. So in like the pair, the 4, the 8, the straight 4, they're all rowing with 1 oar each. So we are aligning the men's lightweight double right now. Making our way back up to the starting line. Man, I am not. All right, here we go. We've had a start. I thought I was going to make it, but I didn't. So we're going to stop, get out of the way, and watch some good rowing go by, some good racing. Lane 1 is NorCal, 2 is Capital, 3 is Oars, and 4 is Upper Natoma. Again, this is the men's lightweight double. A little bit of steering, it looks like, going on out of lane 3, Oars, as they're moving hard to starboard. The leader appears to be, again, going back to my earlier comment, I'm not going to guess. Perspective and I don't get along. Looks like it's NorCal. NorCal appears to be in the lead. Out of focus. Thanks, Mike. Let's see if we can't. Oh, there we go. That should be better. Let me know if that's better, Mike. I was zoomed in. All right, so our leader is NorCal out in lane 1. This is the men's lightweight double. Got a good lightweight program out of NorCal. Their lightweight double is at 31.5. Oars is in second. They're rating at 34. And then the race for third is between Capital and Upper. Capital racing at 31.5. Upper Natoma, 31. So again, men's lightweight double. The race getting a little more competitive as we now cross the first 500 into the second 500. Oars and Upper Natoma making their way away from Capital and up on NorCal. So we're going to follow this race for another 200 meters or so and then make our way back to the start line. Again, a lot can happen in these races where these small boat races, right? It takes a long time. So it's always fun to watch how things develop over the course of 2,000 meters. So NorCal does continue to have that lead. They are extending their lead now. Open water over the field. Second place Oars, open water up on the race for third between Capital and Upper Natoma. Slight advantage to Upper Natoma for that third place position. NorCal again is at 32 strokes per minute. Oars is going to be at 35 strokes a minute. Upper Natoma back in the third place position, 32 strokes a minute. And Capital, 30 strokes per minute. This is the men's lightweight double. NorCal crosses the 1,000 first. And we are going to make our way back to the start line. Next up is going to be the women's novice 4. Lane assignments: Capital Lane 1, North Bay Lane 2. I lost it, sorry. Capital Lane 1, North Bay Lane 2, NorCal 3, Oars 4, Los Gatos 5, Upper Natoma 6. Those are your lane assignments for the women's novice 4. And as always, it's will we make it in time for the start? Love hearing all the cheers for your teams, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Getting close to the start. I think we might be able to do it. Again, next up is the women's novice 4. All these athletes are in their first year of rowing. We're pulling the crews. So I'm going to get out of the way. I may have been mistaken. We're not pulling the crews yet. Dee Dee's aligning the crews. We're going to a quick start. I just heard Dee Dee say we're going to a quick start. And we've had a start. Again, this is the women's novice 4. Lane 1 Capital, 2 is North Bay, 3 is NorCal, 4 is Oars, 5 Los Gatos, 6 Upper Natoma. It's great to see 6 across. It's all very tight off the start. Great racing off the start. The advantage goes to NorCal, but just barely. The coxswain sitting on the bow ball of both lanes 1, 2, and 4. So we're gonna try to get a little closer to get you guys a little bit better view here. Capital now starting to push their way away from NorCal. And Capital now challenging NorCal for that first place position. Still tight racing between those 3. Oars drops back just a bit, as well as Los Gatos and Upper Natoma. Los Gatos and Upper Natoma fighting it out for that 5th place position. Capital continues to extend their lead. Capital racing at stroke rate 32. We have North Bay now challenging NorCal for the 2nd place position. North Bay rolling at 36.5 beats per minute. And then NorCal responding and they're rating at 35. Oars hanging in there, Oars pushing their way away from Upper Natoma and Los Gatos. They are racing down the course at stroke rate 36, but it will continue to be Capital out in front. Capital extending their lead now. Rating at 33, Capital rating at 33 strokes per minute. And that race for 2nd continues to be even, bow ball to bow ball. None of these girls letting the other walk away. North Bay at 33.5, NorCal 35.5. So interesting to see how the rate difference plays out as they go into the 3rd 500. NorCal now beginning to move past North Bay now beginning to make their move and move away from NorCal. But anything can happen. It's still early. It's still early. Capital crew. North Bay in 2nd. NorCal right there with them. Oars in 4th. And it appears Upper Natoma may have taken that 5th place position from Los Gatos. Capital's right now at 30.5. And it looks like NorCal's challenging North Bay again for that 2nd place position, so you guys have to tell me what happens down there as I turn around to catch the next event. So good racing all around. Capital in 1st. Too close to call for 2nd between North Bay and NorCal. Oars in 4th. Upper Natoma in 5th. About 2 seats up on Los Gatos, who is in 6th. And as we make our way back to the start line, the coaches are now aligning for the next event, which will be the Women's Novice 4 2nd flight. So the 2nd flight for the Women's Novice 4. So it's, again, all novices, all 1st-year rowers. But usually the reason why we enter or we create more than one flight is if there's more than 6 crews or 7 crews interested in that event. So we are lucky, we can go 7 across, but of course we want to stay safe, so we don't go any more than that. Looks like we should make it with plenty of time to catch the start of the second flight of the Women's Novice 4. All right, and we do have plenty of time before our next event, so we will hang out. Say hi to Liz and Dee Dee. Say hi to the live feed, guys. Yeah, probably. Liz's mom, if you're watching, comment. Oh, there you go. All right. So while we wait, I'll pull up the lineup for our Women's Novice 4, the second entry here. Coxed and Zanella. Stroke seat is Riley Helder. 3 is Katie Phipps. 2 is Ella Jordan. And bow is Grace Jones. Looks like they're having fun. You guys are on the live feed. They all say hi. There's our freshman 8 warming up from Capital. We're aligning for this event. Second flight of the Women's Novice 4. So we have Capital, and we have 2 entries from Los Gatos for this event.
just us. Let's do this. All right, actual lane 5. Go ahead and tap up 1. Just hands on top.
All boats are sitting ready or getting ready to sit ready. Again, they're going off the start, which is going to be some fraction strokes, some variation of shorter strokes to get the boat up and running. They'll then take a number of strokes that are at higher cadence and then shift down.
We are going to pull the cruise and then we'll get the tension and go. All right, we have alignment. Lane 1, capital. Lane 4 is Los Gatos. Lane 5, Los Gatos. Attention, go.
And we've had a start. Got a little bit of a headwind picking up now as the day goes on, but still great conditions out here. Got Capital, Los Gatos, and Los Gatos. Capital has the lead currently as we begin the race, followed by a close race between Los Gatos A and Los Gatos B. Always fun to have multiple entries from one team and they go out there, and I'm sure that the B entry is going out there to beat the A entry. But it will be Capital out in front. Capital racing at rate 32 in the second flight of the women's novice 4. The A entry in the second flight from Los Gatos racing at 35 strokes per minute, 33, excuse me. And then the second entry from Los Gatos in this event, racing at 32.5. That is Capital on their home course, extending their lead. Over both Los Gatos entries. .500 meters down. And the B entry from Los Gatos not letting that A entry go away as their bow ball creeps up the stern deck on Los Gatos' A entry and approaches the stroke seat. So the race for second is between the two Los Gatos boats. With Capital out in front. And it does look like that B entry from Los Gatos is charging through the A entry. So good race between those two crews for second place. Capital out in front as they cross the 1,000 first. Capital racing at 35.5 strokes per minute. Los Gatos' A entry racing at 33.5. And Los Gatos' B entry .32. We'll make our way back to the start line for the next event, which is the women's novice coxed quad. right, folks, and I'm going to pass you off to Dee Dee for a bit at the start line. I will be right back. Don't you worry. All right, everybody, we're back. Sorry about that. So we are, I'm going to adjust these things real quick, get us set up again, and then we will go catch the next race. All right, so hopefully you guys can all hear me. Trying to get my gimbal here to cooperate. Doesn't want to. So give me a second here as I go through these technical difficulties. Oh my gosh. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. We'll make it work. I just have to get it all set back up, which takes a while. All right. It doesn't like to. Let's see. All right, hang in there, guys. Hang in there. We're gonna see if the machine will. Oh, it's trying to do something. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh, no. There we go. We're back. Time here is about 1 minute. So we'll be back at the start line for all the rest of the races. Now that we're back in working order here. Thanks again to everybody who came out. NorCal, North Bay, Oars, Upper Natoma, Los Gatos. Great having you guys out here. Hopefully you guys are having a good time. Some great racing going on across the board. They're aligning the men's novice cox quads now. Again, men's novice coxed quad. Lane assignments for this event are going to be Capital in lane 1, NorCal in 2, North Bay in 3, and Upper Natoma in 4. And we've had a start. So all 4 boats are off. And we'll catch them as they come by. Off the start, Capital is at 34 strokes a minute. Looks like we may have had a scratch because I'm only seeing 3 boats here. All crews seem to be about 33, 34. Yep, 33, 34 across the board. So we're gonna fall in and watch some of the race here as they come by. And then we'll turn around and get lined up and ready to follow the start of the women's third varsity 8. All right, so at this point, from my perspective, it looks like we have a lead out of lane 1, Capital, but followed closely by Upper Natoma on the outside lane. And here they come. So we have Capital rowing at 30 strokes a minute. Upper Natoma is racing at 34 strokes a minute. And then we have North Bay in 3rd, who I'm getting at 33 strokes a minute. So the leader is Capital. A little open water back to Upper Natoma in 2nd, followed by North Bay. Oops, sorry about that. So we will follow the race here as we go to the 1,000. It's not over. It looks like Upper Natoma is working hard to close the gap between them and Capital. North Bay, likewise, trying to close the gap between them and Upper Natoma. So again, I apologize for the wind. We will put the mic back in for the last couple of races. This is North Bay, currently in 3rd. Second place position, while Capital is working to establish and lengthen out their lead over the field. Coming up on that 1,000. Capital racing at 29.5. Upper Natoma, 32. That's your leader out of lane 1, Capital crew. Your second place position will go to Upper Natoma in the outside lane, and then we'll fall back to North Bay for that 3rd place position. All crews working hard as they cross the 1,000. I'm going to turn it over to you guys at the finish line as we make our way back for the start of the women's 3rd varsity 8. Apologize for the sound of the wind as we're heading back up. Again, we'll put the mic back in a little bit. Just want to make sure that the camera doesn't die. It appears we've already had a start in the women's 3rd varsity 8. Pretty quick to start this event, staying on time. I'm sure everybody appreciates it. So we will cut off and make our way to the outside, and we'll watch the women's 3rd varsity 8 as they come down. So again, your lane assignments are Capital, NorCal, and Capital. It looks like that will be our field for this event. It's Capital lane 1, NorCal lane 2, and Capital's 4th varsity 8 in lane 3. All crews 250 in now. NorCal 33.5. Capital 36. And Capital's 4th varsity 8, 35. Looks like a tight race between NorCal and Capital. In lanes 1 and 2. Oh, and excuse me, there is another entry from NorCal on the outside. So that's NorCal's 4th varsity 8. So the field is Capital, NorCal, Capital, NorCal. So in a sense, we do have 2 races going on in this race. There's the 3rd varsity 8, and then there's the 4th varsity 8. At this moment in the race, almost 500 in. Looks like Capital has a slight advantage over NorCal in both of those races. So it'll be Capital is about bow to stern now. Bow to stern at the 500 over NorCal. NorCal trying to get their bow ball up. Looks like their bow ball might be at the stroke seat of Capital's 3rd varsity 8. So again, here's NorCal's 4th varsity 8. NorCal's 4th varsity 8. Currently in 4th. Capital's 4th varsity 8 in the 3V category. Currently in 3rd. NorCal's 3rd varsity 8 in 2nd. And Capital's 3rd varsity 8 in 1st. So we'll take you guys to the 1,000, turn around, and as always, hope to make it in time for the start of the next race. So have a good race developing as we come into the 1,000. NorCal not letting Capital go. But Capital staying out in front. Capital's right here in that 3rd varsity 8 is going to be 35.5. NorCal racing at 33.5. And that is the 1,000. Here they come, finish line. This is the women's 3rd varsity 8. Lane 1 Capital, 2 NorCal, lane 3 Capital, lane 4 Capital. We'll make our way back up to the start line for the men's 4th varsity 8. Sorry, excuse me, men's 3rd varsity 8, which will contain some 4th varsity 8s. Back up to the start line. We're approaching the start line for the men's 3rd varsity 8, and again, in this event, they're going to have multiple entries from multiple teams. So there's like the men's A, or 3VA, 3VB, 3VC. And what that means then is your third varsity 8, your fourth varsity 8, and your fifth varsity 8. So I'll read you off the lane assignments with that in mind. For the men's third, fourth, and fifth varsity 8, it's going to be NorCal, Capital, Los Gatos, Capital, NorCal, Los Gatos, Capital. So we're gonna make our way to the start. This will be our fourth varsity 8, coxed by Sam Feinberg. Stroke seat is Landon Acosta, 7 David Kayumajan, 6 Chad Breslin, 5 Joe Scar, 4 Max Southworth, 3 Damon Kazadati, 2 Jack Ogan, bow Brett Nelson. And our fifth varsity 8, coxed by Natalie Brown, will be Dylan G, Shane Deary, Sebastian Smith, Advit Thalpu, Jack Leger, Hayden Saini, Dominic Novello, Will Gecki. And our third varsity 8, coxed by Grant Fisher.
NorCal, Capital, Los Gatos, Capital, Los Gatos, Capital. Attention. Go.
And we've had a start in the men's third varsity 8. Third varsity 8 is stroked by sophomore Jordy Bacher. 7 is Christian Gaylord. 6 is Jack Ranker. 5 Will Scar. 4 Patrick McEntee. 3 Riley Stalker. 2 Dennis Surt. Bow Andrew Condren. Quick start here for all crews. It looks like the leaders are out of lanes 2, 3, and 4. That's Capital, Los Gatos, and Capital. A little too close to call from this perspective. We'll see how things shake out once we shift and get into the second 500, which in the 8's races will happen quicker than you realize. So the men's third varsity 8, I give the advantage slightly to Capital out of lane 2. Capital racing at stroke rate 36.5. Los Gatos right there behind him, racing at 35. Capital's 4B, racing at 35.5. Panning out to NorCal in lane 1. NorCal racing at 38 strokes a minute. Let me check that again. 36 strokes a minute. And then for the race with the 5Bs here, looks like Los Gatos over Capital. The race for first, looks like Capital still out in front. We'll take you guys to the 1,000 again. Take our move out. It'll be Capital about a length up now. NorCal making their way through Los Gatos. Challenging NorCal's 3B. NorCal not letting Capital go. NorCal's bow ball now starting to up towards Capital as we're in the third 500 now. That's the call to the 1,000. And we'll make our way back. Phone does say I'm at 10% juice, so we may lose you before the varsity 8's here. Anyway, back toward the start line. Our next race is going to be the women's lightweight double. In lane 1, Capital, 2, Upper Natoma, 3, Oars, 4, Los Gatos. Guys, if you're watching and if my phone does die, I do have a second phone. I'll try to change over and create another live feed. So if that happens, I will let you know. But yeah, we are at 10% on my phone, so there's a good chance I'm gonna lose you. So if I do, look on Capital Cruise YouTube page for another live feed to pop up. Hopefully you can all hear me as the mic is plugged back in. Heading back up to the start line, women's lightweight double. Again, it's the women's lightweight double. Looks like we have a little shake up in the lane assignments here. Lane 1, Upper Natoma, 2, Oars, and 3, Los Gatos. And we have alignment. And we've had a start. Looks like early lead off the start goes to Oars. Second, Upper Natoma. And third, Los Gatos. But it is obviously very early in the race and a lot can change. And as I say that, it looks like Los Gatos is now starting to move up on Upper Natoma. So we have Los Gatos out of lane 3 here. They are currently, it's close for second between them and Upper Natoma. First place is pretty clearly, it goes out to Oars. So you got oars ladies out there out in front for the women's lightweight double. It looks like Upper Natoma has begun to work their way out into that second place position. Pan back over to Los Gatos. Los Gatos in third. As we're racing here and we're past the first 250, we have oars racing at stroke rate 36. We have Upper Natoma racing at stroke rate 29.5. And you have Los Gatos at 36. So that's the field here as we're about 500 meters in. Our leaders are about 500 meters in. Women's lightweight double. So all crews now 500 meters in. Not much has changed. We still have oars out in front. You're welcome, Ashley. I know parts of it haven't been great, so I appreciate the positive encouragement there. So oars out in front, Upper Natoma in second, panning over here to Los Gatos in third for the women's lightweight double. I'm gonna go ahead and spin just about here to go up back up to the top to catch the next race. Which is going to be the women's second varsity 8. So that's the women's JV 8 is coming up next. So we're gonna make our way back up to the start line for the women's second varsity 8. This is North Bay and NorCal warming up here on the course. All right. It's almost that time, Capital Crew fans. The women's second varsity 8. Looks like we should make it in time for the start. So we do still have 6 minutes to start for the women's second varsity 8. The lane assignments for the women's second varsity 8 will be lane 1, Capital, lane 2, NorCal, lane 3, North Bay, and lane 4, Los Gatos. And Coach Sarah Puttycombe is now aligning the women's second varsity 8s. Here we go. Talking to them. That is Capital Crew's JV8 there, struck by senior Ali Bratis. The crew is now entering the course. That'll be NorCal there. And again, this is the women's second varsity 8, the women's JV8. Coach Sarah Puttycombe is getting them lined up. We should have a start here any minute.
Back it down one. Back it down North Bay, Los Gatos, back it down. North South, back it down. Hold Los Gatos. Hold North Bay. Hold North Sit ready.
Here we are, women's second varsity 8.
We have a quick start.
Going to a quick start.
All boats are ready. Attention. Go.
And we've had a start for the women's second varsity 8. Your lane assignments are going to be Capital in lane 1, NorCal in lane 2, Los Gatos in 3, and North Bay in 4. So great race so far. Capital at stroke rate 40 for their high strokes. NorCal stroke rate 40 for their high strokes. I'd give